The U-69 is a Tier 6 German U-boat, and she was the first Type 7C U-boat of the German Kriegsmarine during World War II. The U-9 was meant to destroy light convoy ships, to gain naval power, and lead Germany to world domination. So they decided to build more of these annoying little sneaky things. Just like in World War I, they sunk in a light passenger ship which will definitely not make the US join the war. The Type 7 U-boat is the most common German U-boat, and made a ton of these little things. Compared to other U-boats, she could travel further or longer, with a payload of 11 torps. She sunk over 72k gross registered tons of light shipping in a career lasting 2 years, making her a literal shark, and that's what the U-boats are meant to be. One of the ships she sunk was the MV Siamese Prince. The Siamese Prince was a merchant ship that was hit by a torpedo from U-9. She was hit on her port side while steaming in the very rough seas at the speed of 13 knots. Another ship that she sunk was the Robin Moore, which is an American merchant ship. The captain of the ship, Master Edward W. Myers, was ordered with a Morse lamp by U-69 about 750 miles west of Freetown. After questioning the chief mate that came aboard the U-boat, the commander of the U-9, Jos Metzler, told him that he has to sink the ship in accordance with the prize rules, and ordered the crew to leave the ship in 30 minutes. On June 20th, 1941, US President Franklin D. Roosevelt delivered a message to the Congress of the sinking of the Robin Moore, saying, "To the Congress, I'm under the necessity of bringing to the attention of the Congress the ruthless sinking by a German submarine on May 21st of an American ship, the Robin Moore, in the South Atlantic Ocean, while the vessel was on the high seas en route to South Africa. The submarine did not display its flag, and the commander did not announce its nationality. The Robin Moore was sunk without provision for the safety of the passengers and crew. The passengers and crew of the Robin Moore were left afloat in small lifeboats from approximately 2 to 3 weeks, when they were accidentally discovered and rescued by friendly vessels. This chance rescue does not lessen the brutality of casting the boats adrift in mid-ocean. Were we to yield on this, we would inevitably submit to world domination at the hands of the present leaders of the German Reich. We are not yielding, and we do not propose to yield." The U-69 was rammed and sunk by the HMS Fame. And now, my thoughts about this nice U-boat. She's pretty decent, and currently the best U-boat in the game, because German engineering is the world's finest. She has fast torpedoes, but with small range, which makes her the best. Her maneuverability is good, making it a good submarine to dodge dangerous things. The S-Class, a sub that I can barely find any sources of, is a Tier 6 submarine made in the Soviet Navy. Wait, what do you mean there's a Soviet Navy? Yes, the Soviet Navy is a joke, and they made a ton of these cute little things. Boats of this class were the most successful and achieved the most significant victories among all Soviet submarines. They sank 82,770 gross registered tons of merchant shipping, and even sinking of 7 warships, which accounts for about 1/3 of all tonnage sunk by Soviet submarines during the war. So let's talk about the S-13. Just like other Soviet subs, she mostly sank merchant ships, especially Finnish ones. She is also known to sinking a German cruise liner, which is the MV Wilhelm Gustloff, killing over 9,000 people on board. Since this is Russian, it has special Russian treatment. Her torpedo speed is average. Not too slow, not too fast, and most importantly, her torpedoes are hard to detect and has high damage, just like every Russian ship. Since this is wargaming, RNG will always be common.
Oh my, how rude.
The Cachalot is a tier 6 submarine made in the US Navy. These submarines are called V-boats, which is technically a U-boat but Americanized. This was the only ship to be named Sperm Whale. She was launched on the 19th of October 1933 and commissioned in the 1st of December 1933. She was decommissioned on the 17th of October 1945 at Philadelphia Navy Yard. During World War II, she was involved in the bombing of Pearl Harbor, which took place on 7th December 1941, and now the Americans joined in the fight and threw a weird egg at Japan in the end of the war, and now the world is a much happier place. One of her crew were wounded, though she didn't suffer severe damage. In her first combat, she conducted reconnaissance around Wake and other islands occupied by the Japanese, returning to Pearl Harbor on the 18th of March 1942. On her second combat, she was conducted off the Japanese home islands and damaged an enemy tanker. On her final combat, she penetrated the frigid waters of the Bering Sea in support of the Aleutians operations. Now that the history is out of the way, time for my thoughts on this boat. The Cachalot is an okay sub, though it has high-range torpedoes, but in cost of making the torpedoes slow. In all of the submarines I've played, she's the bulkiest. She's hard to handle and hard to maneuver, considering that she has a weight of 12 Big Macs. So this will be my new type of videos, where I tell the history of war crime vehicles, and telling my thoughts of it. I will do this in both World of Warships and War Thunder, or maybe even World of Tank Splits, just hoping that my next phone is no longer a freaking potato. Time to say goodbye to YouTube revenue. So I will be making more of these videos. See you next week.
Gegnerischer Kreuzer gesunken.